probably won't show up either.
You're listening to AchieveRadio.com, the positive side of broadcasting.
Welcome, everybody, to Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on AchieveRadio.com. This is Ginny Gunther, also known as Ginny Almighty, and I'll be your host tonight, too, along with Dr. Carolyn Dean.
Phone lines are now open at 602-666-6027. That's 602-666-6027.
We'll be taking your phone calls from around the world and right here in the U.S. Welcome, everybody. We're live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on Achieve Radio. It's Monday, February 22nd, 2/22. Happy 2/22 day to you. And the alignment of the stars has all come together for one glorious and spectacular 2 hours with Dr. Carolyn Dean tonight. We're happy to have you with us. And I must say that I have known many, many people in my life, but I think I've only known one person that's done as much good for as many people as Dr. Carolyn Dean, not only with her great wisdom, her compassion, all of her content, her information, her great formulas. She's just able to put so many people on her back and get them up the mountain. And we're so happy that she's here with us this evening again, not only to give us great information, but also just the inspiration of reminding once again, yes, your body is intelligent. Yes, it can do the things that you need it to do if you give it a few basic building blocks. And Dr. Dean has got it all figured out for us, and we're just thrilled to be able to plug into what she knows and apply it in our lives to our joy and for our benefit. Before I bring Dr. Dean on, I will remind you that this is not, quote-unquote, medical advice. No, 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 people. We would never do that here. But what we do is Dr. Dean will tell you what she would do if she were you, and believe me, she has done some pretty amazing things with herself these last couple of years, trying to figure out what's going to work for her, and she trusts it's going to work for you as well. Not only a doctor, but a naturopath, herbalist, acupuncturist, nutritionist, lecturer, consultant, and author of many books, including The Magnesium Miracle, which is number 1 with the bullet or whatever they say on Amazon, and the reviews continue to come in, as do just so many positive comments. You can always check our Facebook page for the latest testimonials and the things that people write in the most sweet spirit about what they've experienced as a result of following Dr. Dean's advice. Just like our good friend John Vanderschaff, who wrote yesterday in on our Facebook page, and like you said, these are I'm saying these are unsolicited. They just show up. And people want to express themselves because they're getting relief and they're finding joy again in their bodies that they haven't had for years. This is what John writes. He says, I'm writing to express my gratitude for introducing me to Remag. I had gone a long, long time in and out of AFib. Every month or two, I would experience an episode of arrhythmia that would last for a week or two. Since I started using this product, it has stopped. Cold turkey, not even a hint of an episode. I still now I can enjoy an occasional cigar or even a glass or two of wine. Those seem to be triggers for me no longer. I've been free of any such an episode for over 6 months. Thank you, Dr. Dean. You have changed my life. And with those wonderful words, we will bring on our very own Dr. Carolyn Dean. Welcome this evening, Carolyn.
Oh, thank you. I keep forgetting to leave a little space for the yay. I love it. Thanks.
Welcome,
Ginny.
welcome.
We are having fun, that is for sure. It's really quite awesome. And yes, I love the testimonial from John, and who knows how many other people are having those effects. And they say in marketing and advertising that for every person that writes you a letter, how many hundreds or thousands aren't writing the letter, but they're out there enjoying the benefits of our products. So that's completely incredible. I have two more testimonials. I think it's probably a good idea to mention them right at the outset, and then we'll go to the blogs and anything else that comes up before we go to the phone. So this is an update from CB. She's in the AFib book. Her story was a long story about her working on her AFib, and I put it in because it shows it's not an overnight sensation that can happen. You have to work at it somewhat, especially in people who've been magnesium deficient for a long time. And CB's update about her AFib is, I've had practically no symptoms at all over a period of 2 months. No AFib episodes, none. Out of a list of approximately 25 to 35 other symptoms due to heart arrhythmias and atrial fibrillation, ranging anywhere from minor to more extreme, they have all either almost or totally disappeared. If an almost disappeared minor symptom, such as one heart palpitation in 2 or 3 weeks, a bit of nervousness for a few minutes, or a simple possible light brief flutter in my chest when I stretched or bent over, if any one of those appears occasionally, it has been minimized so much that I hardly even know that it is there. Amazing. So you can tell, CB is very detailed. She is not going to leave anything unexplored or leave anything out. She said, like I said, it keeps getting better and better. After continual prayer and being on the REMAG and REMITE program and working with you, Dr. Dean, for approximately 1.5 years now, there is a major positive difference in my quality of health and vitality after struggling with the traumas and distractions of AFib that I experienced for 8.5 years prior to connecting with you. It's wonderful to be off all my medications. Yeah, 8.5 years. I'd forgotten that. One day of having your heart pounding all over the place is too much for some people. So she says it's fabulous how good a 66-year-old woman can feel. I feel younger and more energetic than ever. Learning to rest in between my spurts of energy prepares me for my ongoing projects in life. I'm living my life to its fullest. I'm doing things now that I haven't been able to do for almost a decade. Blessings and love to you always. And this is one of the things that I talked about in the AFib book in CB's case. She just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And in a blog I wrote called Lying Down Therapy, I often have to kind of counsel very active women who just are go, and they won't stop. And if something goes wrong, they just go faster. So with something like AFib, you can't do that. You can't keep pushing yourself. And it's not that you're giving up or throwing in the towel. It's nothing to do with that. You're just taking care of yourself. And as you can hear from CB, feeling younger, more energetic than ever is what you want. You don't want to, force yourself when you're having heart symptoms. But see, what helped her was her sea salt water, her REMAG, her REMITE. I don't know if she's on the Realign or RNA drops, but certainly with the minerals, she overcame 8.5 years of disability.
Gosh.
Next, yeah, I know, it is.
8.5 years. Let's just think of that. It is an incredible amount of time to live in that level of stress and uncertainty about whether or not your body is going to fail you. That's just overwhelming. And to find out, and this is the thing that's so profound, underneath all of that, it was just a simple mineral deficiency. You know, that's the thing that's so amazing about magnesium, is that it's what the body requires, but it's so easily and inexpensively resolved. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I know.
Well,
yeah, it is awesome. And then the next email, I think she must be a client, right, a client. Just recently I spoke with her, just reporting in. It has now been almost 4 weeks since I've had to take a migraine tablet and 3 weeks since I started on the Remag and Remite. I'm a little reluctant to speak too soon, but that is probably the longest time in the last couple of years that I haven't taken a tablet. I'm only taking a half teaspoon per liter of both Remag and Remite plus the salt. As I'm not getting any migraine symptoms, I'm wondering if I should just stick to that amount. I mean, half a teaspoon, I guess I don't know if it's once a day or twice a day, but half a teaspoon is only 150 milligrams of magnesium. Then she says, my dad has completed his second week of Remag and Remite. So far, I hadn't noticed any change, but he's ever hopeful. He said he would give it a go for 3 months. Should he have noticed something by 3 months? I hope, she just thanked me. Hope I'm not wearing out my fingers through too much typing. I said, yeah, I have very, very skinny fingers from all the typing. So I said to her that she probably should think about taking more Remag because she wasn't at a therapeutic dose. You want to get enough so that, heaven forbid, if you have some extra stress or some trigger for your migraine, that you just don't get it. So you want your magnesium built up in your bones and muscles. And I said, with your dad, it's possible he's had magnesium deficiency a lot longer, and it can take more time. But I said a close questioning of how he's feeling might let you know that it's already working, because people will start to have a little more energy, be doing more, sleeping better, be less tense, and they really don't notice. When people notice things, it's usually when they're bad or awful or not. They don't notice until they're feeling completely incredible. So if you're 20% better, you may not notice it. And what's interesting is you made migraines the topic of the blog today that you sent out. Had you seen that email about the migraine person?
No, I had not. That is awesome.
Yeah. And what is amazing about migraines is I can't imagine anything worse than a migraine. I mean, I do get occasional headaches because I am at the computer too much, and my head will bend over the computer with a proper posture. So I know headaches, but migraines are like a knife in your head. It's horrible pain. And what I've written about in the Magnesium Miracle is the work of Dr. Moskop. And it was in the last edition, and I'm very close to my Magnesium Miracle book now because I'm editing it constantly. And he wrote a paper recently that pretty much just says, take magnesium for migraines. It wasn't any beating around the bush. It's just magnesium is the most important treatment for migraines. And he came to that conclusion through his work over the years with Burton and Bella Altora, who wrote the foreword to my book. And when you go through the Magnesium Miracle, you can find the entries about migraines where a deficiency of serotonin can result in migraines, and serotonin is balanced by magnesium. Blood clots can clog little blood vessels leading to migraines, and magnesium can prevent that from happening because it it dissolves calcium, which can lead to blood clots. It's not that magnesium is a blood thinner. It just keeps the blood in balance so it doesn't have to go into a clotting formation. So migraines, I wonder if that came to mind for you, Ginny, because our old friend Ryan came back on board. I think he Facebooked us. And Ryan had been telling some of his friends who had migraines about magnesium and saw that, within a few teaspoons of Remag, their migraines would go away. And this is what we've been finding more and more over our customer intervention with our customers, that they're totally amazed that they can get off these very strong painkillers after years and years of migraines. So I wondered, do you have anything more to say about migraines and magnesium, Ginny?
Nope. And you're right. It was Ryan Floor on the floor, and just knowing that, he's so all about the Remag, and seeing him again on Facebook reminded me of his experience, and I think it's something that's overlooked. I try to focus on different things because we do talk a lot about AFib and, kind of atypical things that happen with magnesium deficiency. I don't know that it's occurred to everybody, and that migraines are definitely magnesium deficiency related, and also that if you do have a headache, you can use Remag topically on your forehead. That's what I do. So if I start to get a little bit headache, I just put Remag on my fingers, swipe it across my forehead, and right at the back of my neck, and it goes away. And
wow.
So I think just sharing those things about using Remag topically, number one. Number two, all the different things that it does do, and even the daily, kind of like you said, at the computer too long, ache and pain, get a headache. Just swipe some Remag on your forehead and, get used to really playing with it a lot. And I know we send out the protocol to people, and we're very specific in that because we don't want people to get, toxicity and all wound up in the beginning. But once you've been on it for a while, start to play with it and have some fun with it because it's so versatile.
Right, yes, we do like people to start slowly on magnesium, but especially the Remag because it goes right into the cells. But, periodically I'll have patients or clients or customers. Just recently, actually, someone got into a problem with some pharmacy error where they were given a synthetic thyroid prescription instead of a natural thyroid prescription, and had headaches and fever for like 10 days, and finally got in touch with me, and I basically took the history and said, well, it sounds like a toxicity. So she had not been on her Remag recently, and I don't know why people quit when they get sick. Sometimes it's hard to focus on anything. She had taken a different magnesium and gotten a laxative effect, so she stopped. So I said, look, just take 2 teaspoons of Remag, put it in sea salt water, and just sip it for the rest of the day. And she took at least that much, maybe more, and she said within a few hours the 10-day headache and fever and just feeling horrible were gone. So there's a certain aspect of using Remag when you're really in an acute emergency situation. And how many times have people told us that in the middle of an AFib attack they'll take an extra teaspoon, or they have some sort of ache or pain, they'll take more Remag. And I have to remind people, look, you can't just take a Band-Aid and not go to the doctor and get yourself checked out. I've always said to people, take your natural remedy on the way to the hospital just in case you have to have some sort of investigation. But yes, it can be that when people are in an emergency magnesium deficiency symptom situation, that they can just take the Renag and it will improve them. It's like they're so toxic and so in such pain already that the body just needs help getting rid of the poisons that are giving you the headache or giving you the fever. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense to me. Absolutely. Very good. Very good.
But, yeah, I'll say it on the radio like this. I don't expect customer service to give that sort of information because it's something that I'll take a good history and know the person before I'm going to say something like that. But I've never felt that magnesium was toxic in any way. What we're trying to inform people of is that when you take a lot of Remag and your body has been beaten down to just a chronically fatigued and anxious situation, when you start to take too much magnesium on a daily basis, then you rev things up, and sometimes you just don't have the energy to handle the revving up.
Very good. Yeah, absolutely. I can appreciate that. Very good. Excellent. What else did you write about in your blogs?
Yes, so that's that blog. And my blog, looks like I just did one this week. I'm getting lazy. But not. I'm spending so much time writing these books. It's crazy. And I keep adding things, and I enjoy it a lot, but it is time-consuming. So the blog I wrote was Don't Vaccinate Without Magnesium and Vitamin C. And it came out of the, I guess it was a press release that we did with the Orthomolecular Medical group that, let me just find it here. The daughter of the editor, Helen Case, she wrote about her experience with her daughter getting that vaccination and then having a fever, etc., and what she did for it. And it just made so much sense because sometimes people have to get a vaccination, or their children either don't go to school or they get a vaccine. Or when a family has a mother and father who are both working, a child is in school, and the school says, your child can't come to our school unless they get vaccinated, then what are the parents going to do? They're in a no-win situation. So this is, kind of a fallback position. Heaven forbid if you have to have your child vaccinated. And I'm not saying even to wait for symptoms, actually. Just take your Remag and your vitamin C if your child has to have a vaccination. And what was interesting, after that blog, I had one person email me, and he pulled all the manipulation tactics about what shock he was in that I was suggesting vaccinations. And then there was another thing about, the previous email was where I was asking people to fill out a survey on having a Dr. Dean Health app. And this other person was shocked that I was recommending people use cell phones and smartphones. So it's pretty hard to please everybody, Ginny. But, the situation in our environment, which is so heavily geared toward technology and geared toward medications, is not something that each individual person can fight. I tried to work in the health freedom movement for several years, and it is not something that we're ever going to change, just the way of commerce in our society. Drug companies run the country. So the best we can do is take care of our health. And instead of, putting myself right on the razor's edge and taking the shots for everybody by leading the battle against smartphones and vaccines and all the rest of it. I'm trying to work with solutions so that a person can adapt to the changing environment, because the changing environment is not going to stop on a dime as we would like it to. The environment is going to change with us or without us. So we can learn to adapt, adopt, and survive, which is what amazingly the completement formulas do for a person. I mean, even to the point where the completement formulas, the RNA drops specifically, help change your state of being, let's say. They give you the bliss state in the beginning, and that kind of levels off, and then you have a very nice sense of detachment as your body is growing and shifting and creating perfect cells. So,
hey, Carolyn.
Yes.
The person who got you into that fight, 2004 and 2005, Truman Tuck, just passed on a few weeks ago, and he was young.
Yeah.
But he stayed in the fight.
He stayed in the fight and got sicker and sicker and used up all his vital energy that he should have had for himself and his wife and his family. He used it up by attacking and fighting. And
he didn't even know that you had made these products, probably.
No, probably not. I even gave him a co-author on my first edition of Death by Modern Medicine so he could raise funds for his fight, although he didn't write anything in the book. But anyway, yes, poor Truman, a very good case in point, Bob, where he and I'll also remember the committees that attacked me in Toronto for saying bad things on national TV about sugar, and they sent a plant into my office to take my license away after I'd been out of the province for a couple of years. And when I didn't even have a license, they took away a non-existent license to scare other doctors into the standard practice of medicine. So all those people have gone to the happy hunting ground, and here we are just starting our next career in the supplement industry, right, Bob?
Yes, and that was 22, 23 years ago. That's how long ago that deception and hoax was done on you. And well, here we are many decades later.
Right.
Didn't stop you at all.
And still, actually, though, spearheading a revolution, but it's what I've always wanted to do, just be able to educate people about taking care of themselves. The different techniques I'd learned over the years, if they had to be administered by a doctor or intravenously or by injection, it just wasn't accessible to the public. But yes, what we've come up with is so highly accessible to the individual that they're out there, just creating miracles, and we never even hear about them. So, yes, as I said, those two blogs about smartphone apps and about how to antidote a vaccination really, stirred up just a couple of people, not everybody, because, what happens in real life is not what we would like to see happen in our fantasy. So I'm dealing with real life and real life situations where, I get my clients calling me up about their children and grandchildren and what are they to do. And I like to have solutions, and instead of just admonishing them for vaccinating or, whatever they get into, you try to help people where they are, or give them, offer them opportunities to make changes. So anyway, that's what we're doing here, and I don't know what my next blog will be, but it probably won't be so controversial. Did you have any feedback on my two latest blogs, Ginny?
No, but I am glad you wrote about the vaccination thing, and I can appreciate both sides of what you're speaking. We do have a lot of customers that do email us, and we have a lot of customers who ask if, you'll sign up on something so that they don't have to take them, which, of course, you can't do. But I do know that it's a terrible position to have to put people in, and they're in it, of their own, choice because they have children and things. So that you can give them any relief at all, or even a suggestion on how they can inoculate their body or prepare their body is, very beneficial, I think. So once again, very excellent. Stick with the controversial stuff, Carolyn. I mean, you're absolutely right. Not everybody gets it, but it doesn't matter because there are so many people who do, and they really appreciate it.
Good. Yes.
Yep, they do.
Okay, so I'm good for now. I do have about 10 or 12 mail bags, but we can go to the phones if that is your desire.
Okay, very good. Yes, let me just explain that the phone lines are now open. We will open up for some calls with Dr. Dean, and we are going to get to our mailbag. We got busy with phone calls last week and weren't able to get all our questions in, but we're going to get them done this week for sure. So first of all, let me just say if you're listening through Studio A or through another mechanism and you'd like to call and talk with Dr. Dean directly, the number is 602-666-6027. That's 602-666-6027. And once you get into the phone call itself, you've got to hit *5 on your keypad. *5 will raise your hand and let us know you have a question or comment. Now, you can also use the InQuick messaging system or the public chat room at Achieve Radio Studio A, which is what some of our regulars like to do. They like to chat with one another, check in, support one another, and they also like to chat with Bob when he's available to comment on the chat line. And Johnny B. wrote something on the chat line, Carolyn, so I'm going to read that to you for your comment, and then we're going to go some phone calls. So Johnny wrote in, I just got all my blood work results back from doctors and everything is normal. The twitches seem to stop during the day since I started with 1 teaspoon of Remag and Remite from where I was taking 2 before. However, the issue once I try to go to sleep is still an issue. Not as bad, but they seem to still be there. I'm not sure what the they is, but maybe Carolyn knows. I started back on my CPAP machine to see if this would help, but it seems to have helped somewhat, but not completely. I have a sleep study scheduled, but I'm waiting for the insurance company to approve the study. So, Carolyn, do you have any suggestions or insights on Johnny B. about getting a little bit better sleep at night?
Well, like if something is going in the right direction, don't impede it. Just keep doing what you're doing. A lot of us are pretty impatient, and, we like to sort of think that we can manipulate things and make them go faster. And, it may be like I mentioned earlier, but the lying down therapy. Take it easy, learn how to relax. I'm going to, what Johnny said before, started getting twitches and wondered what that was. So the twitching, I said, was his muscles waking up, and he was also having the sleep problems. So I'd say basically if his tests all came back normal, that's good news, and there's nothing physical that the doctors can find, then it's like full speed ahead doing your Remag and Remite and sea salt water, and maybe even think about the Realign RNA drops as well.
Excellent. Very good. I like to share with everybody that my favorite thing to do is put Remag on my feet before I go to sleep at night. Carolyn, I love Remag. Topically, I like to take a shot of it before I go to bed. I put them on my feet, and it's quite delicious. So there's that, too. If you don't want to have to take any more orally, you might want to just use some transdermally. That's my suggestion. Okay, very good. Let's go to the phones. Yes, to the great state of Texas. Yeehaw! area code 832. You're on the line with Dr. Carolyn Dean.
Well, great.
Hello?
Thank you for taking my call.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
welcome, please.
Yes, who is it?
This is Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Can you hear me?
What have you got first
Oh,
today?
great. I have a question about type 1 diabetes.
Yes, I think you wrote that in.
Yes.
Let me find your email because it was a good email. It should be right here. You're asking, is it curable or at least manageable without all the drugs? You said you have a friend's mom who has type 1 for 15 years, has gout, high blood pressure, heart rate issues, cholesterol, joint issues, diabetic nerve pain, eye problems. She's on the usual suspects of treatments, 11 drugs to be exact. Said you gave them Remag book and the Magnesium Miracle book, and just wondered Okay, well, the thing with type 1 diabetes, that's where the pancreas has some sort of autoimmune or viral attack or something happening to it where the insulin that the body needs to push the blood sugar into the cells, where that insulin is depleted or deficient. And what I've seen happen with the complement formulas is people will reduce the amount of insulin they're on, but what you have to do in the case of your friend with all these drugs is if at all possible she can go on them on the complement formulas to try to deal with all these symptoms. The high blood pressure is definitely magnesium deficiency, so is the heart and the cholesterol, and when with blood sugar problems you can get eye problems, but the magnesium can help there. The other minerals in the Remite are important for the immune system and all kinds of tissue healing. But it's something that your mom's mother has to study and look into and determine whether or not she wants to take that route. Otherwise, I mean, a person who's already on 11, 12 drugs, and what age is she? Is she in her 40s or her 50s?
She's in her 50s.
Yeah, I mean, that's way too young to have all these symptoms. And, if she understands that maybe, along with the diabetes, she developed mineral deficiencies and then developed symptoms that then get her on all the medications, and she'd realize, well, maybe I can remineralize my body, detoxify my body, and get off the drugs. It's you see, the question is not is diabetes curable? It's whether or not she wants to try to turn around her whole lifestyle and treat her whole body so that she can wean herself off the medications. Insulin is not the problem here. It's all the other medications. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Right.
So yes, we've had many people with on a dozen drugs. Even in our customer service, one of our customer service people was on a whole cabinet full of drugs, and she's been able to wean off, I think, either all or most of them. So we know that is achievable, and then it may be achievable as well as many people have done to reduce the insulin. So you can let her either hear what I'm saying now or relay it to her, but get her to study the Remite book, the Magnesium Miracle book, and make her own decision.
Okay.
Okay, and, anything else?
And other modalities that would be helpful for her, do you think would be what? Like for, I guess, like a sauna, massage, and those kind of things would be helpful for her?
Well, a person has to have enough energy to be able to do anything else, and that's where the REMAG comes in. If she takes the REMAG and starts getting her energy back, then she'll decide the first thing would be a little bit of exercise. And just to make it part of the routine, don't say you have to do these therapies. It's just you feel better, you have more energy, you want to get out and get some fresh air and exercise. And, you know, there are plenty of other things that you can do, but you can't, you know, don't overreach right now. We've just got to do baby steps here where, you know, will you drink more water with some sea salt in it? Will you be able to understand sea salt is okay even if your doctor says don't take any salt? You've got to educate yourself about all these important issues to get your minerals in line and get your cells hydrated with enough water and put the minerals into your cells.
Okay. And so it would just be a matter of, like, following the recommendations for the completement formulas? Just like...
yes. Yeah. It's all laid out and written out in the REMAG and the REMITE books. And then, as you know, we have the radio show where she or you can phone in and ask questions as they come up.
Okay. That sounds really good.
Okay.
Yeah, fantastic.
Okay.
I sure appreciate you taking my call.
Oh, you're welcome. And I appreciate your wanting to help your friend's mother. You know, that's very sweet of you. And, you know, we want to support you and her as much as we can.
Yes, and you've already helped me and my own family so much. I mean, the differences are amazing. I should write in several different testimonies for that. But even like my dad, you've just really helped my dad so much when nothing else did help. And following your recommendations, they really did work, and it was amazing.
Yep.
So I'll have to send them some testimonials.
That we'd love that. That would be very good. And it's by the testimonials that other people get reinforced in their desire to get healthy. And I'm sure, you know, what's happened to your dad and your family makes you want to help your friend's mother. And and I'm sure it will if she's interested and willing to try them.
Right, and so there's hope for this, for her condition, isn't there? That's what he was looking for, was some hope. Yeah. Yeah, that was really good news. That's fantastic. I sure appreciate everything that you've been doing.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks for calling, and we'll probably hear from you again, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Excellent. Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here at AchieveRadio.com. Thank you for calling in this evening. And also want to just give a quick shout-out to all of our regulars who tune in. And as I go through and see people on the chat line and people calling in this evening, it reminds me of how long we've been doing this. And, Carolyn, how many wonderful, loyal, devoted customers we have who've been with us for years. And I think that's exciting, too, the results that they get. All right, pressing on with more telephone calls. Let's go to area code 970, the great state of Colorado. You're on the line with Dr. Carolyn Dean. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Hi, it's Tammy calling in. I called in last week and I think the week before, too.
Okay, Tammy, what's up this week?
I had a question for you about prostaglandin. I was wondering what role magnesium plays in prostaglandin and the amount of prostaglandin your body's secreting.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Have you ever heard me say that before, Ginny?
Actually, I was on mute falling out of my chair. I have never heard you say
I'm sure it does affect the prostaglandin. I mean, magnesium affects everything, so Yeah, what are you thinking about there, Tammy?
I don't know if you remember what's going on with me, but I have extremely painful periods.
And they start PMS.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And they started with the birth of, right after the birth of my premature baby. And I've been reading some medical journals about prostaglandin causing the pain. That's what causes the pain when you're having that kind of cramping, particularly in your legs and down into your ankles and stuff, which is what I have. And so I just kind of wondered, to me, and I've mentioned this to several, regular doctors, which they just blow me off, but my naturopath actually started listening to me, and he thought that could have something. My theory is something switched my prostaglandin on when I gave birth to a premature baby, and I feel like it just wouldn't shut off because every month it feels like I am going into labor. And so I was wondering maybe if you could offer me any information, perhaps magnesium messes with that, and that's why my body's not shutting it off.
Well, when you look at the studies, of course I pulled something up right away, and they do talk about a deficiency of magnesium is thought to be related to alterations in the biosynthesis of prostaglandins. So, I mean, they know they are related, and in terms of switching things on and off, yes, magnesium, they talk about that being an epigenetic substance that can turn genes on and off, or in this case, hormones on and off. So I would say there's some relationship, but we'll go back to how you're feeling. How long have you been taking Remag, and is it helping your periods?
So I'm 53 days into Remag, and I use it in heavier doses on the first day of my period. I have about 6 hours that are just absolutely horrible. So I dose that.
How many hours did you used to have? Hang on. How many hours did you used to have?
It's really about the same, but my brain is much better during it. Before I had very foggy brain and just felt very out of it. And now I notice that my brain is better, so I can actually deal with the pain better because I'm thinking better, But the magnesium is taking the cramping away completely. It just I still know it's going on. It's still whatever's happening internally is still happening. It's just the magnesium is working almost like an Aleve, but much better, obviously, and much healthier. So.
No, but I don't get it now. You're saying you have 6 hours of horrible pain, and that hasn't changed. But now you're saying
it still comes on, and it's it's kind of like a tightrope that I walk. I let it come on because I want to see what's happening if it's still there. But then once it starts to get too bad, I take the magnesium as almost like an Aleve or whatever, and then it relaxes my muscles and allows me to fall asleep. So I don't know that it's healing the situation as much as I'm using it as a muscle relaxer, quite honestly.
Well, you can't use it as a drug. That's not the way to use magnesium. You have to use it.
I'm taking it throughout the day as well.
Right, so you're saying you use the extra. And if you've only been less than 2 months on it, you've only had 2 periods on it. So, and if you've had some shifting, then, like I said earlier to someone, you're going in a positive direction, so just keep going.
Okay.
You can't, force something that's been with you. It's a couple of years since your last child was born?
No, 10. I've been doing this for 10 years.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, I know. You have no more patience left to wait.
No.
But seriously, it has improved, and with my heart palpitations, it did take a year for them to finally not happen if I, missed a day of magnesium. So it's going to take some time for you to build up your stores and reverse this prostaglandin business, which I'm pretty convinced it will, because it treats so many different things. So just be patient and keep doing what you're doing. And
hey, I want to add something, Carolyn.
Yeah.
Since that question you couldn't answer at the beginning, I would recommend calling in Saturday night at this number, and you can ask Ion about these mystery aspects. That's always an interesting view, and then Ion would give an answer, then Carolyn would bounce off that.
Okay.
So I'm saying this to everybody. Any mysteries that are a bit odd, we all, Carolyn uses Ion for those strange aspects, so you guys can too on Saturday night.
Right. To get another perspective. Yeah, because it's what's happening. Yeah, what's happening to you is, as you say, a mystery. As Bob says, it's a mystery, but it's not a mystery to the body. It's something, like you triggered at that point. And if it was a basic magnesium deficiency, and then the switch went off on the prostaglandin, then the switch will go back on when you get magnesium saturation. As I said, I'm pretty convinced of that because I see it happen so much. And, I don't want you to get frustrated and think that it's not happening fast enough, or, try not to do too many experiments with yourself by leaving yourself, open to having the pain when you could be using extra Remag. As long as you're doing it every day through the day, you're building it up. But just, kind of get it in your mind that, okay, I'm on this treatment. It is helping. Let me give it a few months before I start, second guessing. And, Tammy, are you also on the Remite and the Realign?
I'm on the Remite and the RNA drops.
Okay. Yeah, what struck me when you were talking about your brain is much better, it did make me wonder about yeast overgrowth. Do you think that's an aspect of what?
I do think it was. I am on the yeast protocol, and I think that's helped a ton. I do. I really think that's helped a ton, because I was having loose bowel movements, and at first I talked with you last week that I thought, I didn't think it was the Remag, and actually this week that has resolved. So, and I haven't changed my dosage on the Remag, so I think that was yeast kill-off.
Right. Yeah, and the Realign will be helpful as well as for the detoxification, for the methylated Bs, for the nervous system. You need methylation for liver detoxification, the sulfur and the sulfur-based amino acids for the liver detoxification, and then they create the glutathione as your detoxifier and antioxidant. So you might as well add the Realign as well.
Okay. I'm also a runner, and so I've been, I think dealing with this deficiency for 10 years, like I said. But I had many other symptoms other than PMS and painful periods. That was merely the start of it, and it's after the marathon that I ran last year is when I really bottomed out and was able to find you after a year of searching for answers. So it's been a long haul, so I understand the patient's piece, but I've been down so many roads that didn't work out. I just want to make sure I'm covering all my bases this time, but I have had excellent, my hair is not falling out anymore, and that is awesome. And that almost started immediately, like a week after I started taking it. My hair stopped falling out. And everyone keeps telling me how great I look. Your skin looks great. Your skin looks great. And so I so many other things have resolved. But I am anxious about the period thing because this is where it started. I feel like this is why it started. And so I know that I can't go back to just putting up with it.
No, I get it, Tammy, and it, if that's what started it, then that'll be the last thing to go, unfortunately.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you got all the, you have all the intellectual information, but certainly when you're in the middle of excruciating pain, as if you're having another birth, all bets are off. So I understand. Okay, we're good for today?
Yes. Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome, Tammy. Thank you for calling.
Yes.
I'll see you soon again. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on Achieve Radio. We are going to be going to a break, but Carolyn, I want to get this question in quickly. A different Tammy, not our Tammy, is asking, are there other deficiencies that could cause chronic headaches, like hormone things? But then she's also asking for her friend who says she started getting chronic migraines when she was 10 years old. That's kind of like pre-hormone stuff, right?
Right. Well, there can be other things. I remember somebody's migraine started when they were hit with a baseball bat, and no one will believe her. But what you do is you start with Remag, you saturate yourself, you do as much as possible with your Remag, all the complement formulas, and if the headaches are still a bit there, then you look for the details.
Very good. Excellent answer. We'll be right back, everybody. Hour 2 coming right up.
By visiting drcarolyndean.com.
AchieveRadio.com.
Oh, these old joints, they're swelled up and tight, and they can't function. And sometimes these joints, they give me a little bit of contrast. But, I just delight in this process because, I know people who don't have a knee. Yeah. I'm glad of this my whole body. And I'm so enjoying the contrast that I've created within my physical body so that as I gain my tactility, I'm going to always, ever love in my force field, have the emotion of responding and delight in my physical body. Because, see, I'm an eternal being. I'm going to be here forever. I don't choose to transition. I choose to be happy right here, right now, in my middle kingdom. And there's no dynamic in my outer kingdom of things that I don't know that are going to have a negative connotation in my middle kingdom. And I know this because my inner kingdom, the heartstrings that move me to emotions, pull me to the place that I know that I can be, do, or have anything, and that I'm larger and grander than this dynamic of a sore knee, that my body normally balances itself. The food that I eat brings me much pleasure and delight. I enjoy every capacity of my experience on planet Earth. I like to run. I like to play. I remember the joy running around the yard or digging in my flower bed. I enjoy that dynamic. And don't worry about me, because I'm just fine.
AchieveRadio.com.
We return now live with Dr. Carolyn Dean, along with your host, Ginny Gunther, here on AchieveRadio.com. Skype us at ar.call.in. That's ar.call.in.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 of Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on AchieveRadio.com, and we've got lots of phone calls stacking up this evening, so just be patient with us as we move through in the order which the phone calls came in and respond to everybody's inquiries. Again, 602-666-6027 is the number to call. And right now we're going to go to this unknown person. You probably heard me take your phone off. Could you hear that? Are you there? Did you hear a little click in your phone?
Yes, it's 760 area code.
Yep, that's you. Go ahead, please. You're on the line with Dr. Carolyn Dean. If you could give us your name.
Okay, I have a question. My sister is knowledgeable in everything Dr. Carolyn Dean. I mean, she is really, really up on all of your products. And for the last year, I've been taking everything, I believe. The drops, the RNA drops, Relight, Remag, Realign. Am I missing something? I think that.
No.
But
well, there's the Renew too. Yeah.
Oh yes, no, I put that on like if I have a bruise.
Okay.
I just don't ingest it. Okay, the question is, when we go out, sometimes we'll go out for a drink, and she'll hand me a Realign and say, "Here, take this first." But the directions on the bottle say, "Take it with a meal." So when I'm at home alone, I take it when I'm eating breakfast or dinner with the meal. But she swears that it's okay to take it before a cocktail or before dinner.
Yes, it is. It's just fine.
So,
that label, the Realign label, really annoys me because when you use amino acids, they have you put on all kinds of restrictions. And amino acids apparently work better when they're taken with food, but for what your sister is using, the Realign, is to help you metabolize the alcohol. So it's like the alcohol is your food. Yeah. So does it work?
Yes. Okay. Well, I know that, I don't know what to look for, but I've been taking it for quite some time. I'd say well over a year, maybe 2 years.
Good.
So I just keep doing it, and everything seems to be fine.
Okay, that's good.
So I just wanted to know about that.
I didn't catch your first name. I didn't catch your first name before I let you go.
Oh, my name is Melody Cole, and I live in Palm Springs. And my sister is Nancy, and boy, is she an expert. She really studies everything, and I don't think she ever misses a show. She even called me today and said, "Oh, it's almost 4 o'clock, and be sure to listen." And so she's really up on your products.
Well, that's great, Melody, and you have a wonderful sister who got you into the products.
She's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Melody, just want you to know, Melody, Nancy's here every week, and she gets a big hello from me every week on the chat.
Okay. Oh, terrific.
Okay, Melody.
Yeah, she's the best.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll continue to take it even if I'm not full of a meal. Thank you. Bye.
Exactly. Okay, bye-bye.
Excellent. Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean, going on with our next phone callers here this evening. We're going to go visit our good friend in the great state of Pennsylvania, area code 267. Hello, Kendall.
Hey, Jenny. Hey, Dr. Dean.
Hi, Kendall. How's it going?
Hey, Bob. Don't mean to leave you out.
Bob nods in appreciation. Okay, what's up? We'll give you. What do you think? I'll give you a couple minutes. We don't have to do our marathons anymore because you're all better, right?
I'm getting there. I'm trying anyway. So basically, what I wanted to ask. What I wanted to ask was, I started taking RNA drops. I can't say I feel bliss or anything, but I noticed that the twitching is not as prominent as it was before, like the muscle twitching and stuff. And I wanted to, me, I'm trying to move forward. So I wanted to know, like, as far as this candida and yeast stuff that I keep hearing y'all talk about, what do you suggest that I start doing? And do you also recommend people to take like omega-3s and congruence with, you know, the
right.
complete metformin?
Okay, well, we're two things in. With the yeast, well, what you do, Kendall, I'll get Ginny to send you the yeast questionnaire, and you'll fill that out, and at the bottom it'll you record your scores, and at the bottom it'll tell you whether you have mild, moderate, or severe yeast. And then based on that, you would do a treatment protocol. Ginny will send you everything. So that's the yeast. With the omega-3 fatty acids, that's under my Dr. Dean supplement recommendation blog. Just Google for Dr. Dean supplement recommendations. And in there, what I have for the fish oils is a fermented cod liver oil and butter oil combination that seems to be all you need to get your vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin K. It gives you your EPAs and DHAs, and you don't need these huge amounts that people recommend. It's just, it seems to be too much. A lot of people just burp them and don't digest them. So yes, that's part of my extended recommendations that you can look into. Okay?
Okay. All right, and then now I'm trying to introduce my husband because he suffers from high blood pressure, uncontrollable high blood pressure, and he can't take he doesn't like the taste of it. Like, and I don't understand how somebody could pick taste over their health, because I mean I don't care what it could taste like. It could taste like it came out of my crapper, and I'm going to still take it because I need to get better. But he doesn't like the taste of it, so I'm trying to sneak it. Like, do you know anything that will hide the taste?
Well, have you noticed that we have that flavored Remag?
Mm-hmm. I had that one before, too. I don't think it's much of a difference. I just want to make sure that I give him enough. And also, do you have any suggestions for, like, fluoride-free hypertension medicines that I could actually, like, suggest to his doctor to prescribe him? Like something that doesn't have fluoride in it?
Let's just finish up the Remag. What you can do is you put it in any sort of drink, or, you can mix it in his food as long as you don't boil the food, because it can boil off the magnesium. But you can put it in anything, applesauce, anything. And, just start with a half a teaspoon and work up. But and then for the blood pressure medications, I wouldn't know what to recommend to start with. But what you do is just ask his doctor if he can have a non-fluoride medication, because you're concerned about the fluoride. And the doctor say, oh, no, and you'll say, well, no, there are studies now showing that the intestinal bacteria can break down drugs and release the fluoride. And he wouldn't have heard of that, or she wouldn't have heard of that, but that's what I'm concerned about happening. And, which brings me to what would be easiest for your husband to take is a soil-based probiotic. Right now we're recommending Prescript Assist, and if you show to have yeast overgrowth, that's one of the things to take for yeast is the probiotic. And what the probiotic does, it balances out the intestinal flora, and it helps many, many aspects of a person's health. So you could look at that for him as well, okay?
Yeah. Dr. Dean, are you gluten-free?
I am,
Okay. Because I've done it before, and I've tried to stay with it, but sometimes I, fall off. But I was just wondering, like, is it ever times where you might eat something, that might have gluten in it, or do you just completely avoid it at all times?
Well, occasionally I will, but I'll tell you, when I do the Saturday pizza when Bob's having his 20-hour radio show, I will have a bit of a headache the next day and maybe a bit of a grumbly stomach. So I know it affects me right at this minute. It seems to affect me. And that's what, you tell yourself, okay, I'll avoid it for a week and, maybe I'll try it and see how I feel. And it's kind of like doing an experiment every once in a while. You just check in and see how it makes you feel. But you have to, really pay attention.
Yeah. I'm telling you, by the time I'm done, I want to have my whole 8-member family, even the baby. Can I give it to the baby?
Yeah, babies need their magnesium. You look up the RDA of magnesium in babies, and it's, it's about 150 milligrams they need. You just look up RDA on your baby's age, and you can use the Remag at the amount the RDA suggests.
Okay. Yeah, I can't wait to be able to afford to put everybody on it, but I'm thinking of a master plan so that we all can be healthy.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful to hear. That's really inspiring to everybody who's listening. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, hon, so I'll let you go, and we'll move on into people that aren't as healthy as you, okay?
Yes, and then I'll Jenny, you'll send me the stuff about the yeast and stuff?
Yes, I will.
Thank you so much, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Okay, hon. Nice to hear from you. Bye-bye. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right. Oh, we just love that. Isn't that fun?
That's
just the
Look
best.
at her now. She's shaking her husband because, he won't take something just because it tastes bad, and the whole family's going to get on it. Yeah.
That's right. We love Kindle. Excellent. All right. Great state of Connecticut, area code 860. You're on the line with Dr. Carolyn Dean. If you could state your name and then give us your question or comment.
Hi, this is Terry. Can you hear me?
Yes, Terry.
Hi there. Actually, I'm in Arizona, but I have an old phone number. Reason I'm calling is I've been on all your products, actually, but it's been about 5 months for me on the Remag. I started with that, and then I quickly added the RNA drops, and I'm up to 10 drops twice a day. And the third product I added was the Remite. And I'm having a really hard time with that. It gives me it's giving me extremely dry skin. I'm prone to having a very cracked, dry bottom lip. That's been all my life, but it's gotten worse as I've gotten older. And I was up to about maybe a capful of the Remite. And I could tell my skin was getting more and more dry, but I wasn't making a connection. And finally I thought, I wonder if it's that. So I stopped it for about a week, and it went away for the most part. And then I added it in slowly, and I started again. So I'm literally taking 1 drop a day, and it's still making it a little bit worse, but it's tolerable. So I'm wondering why that would be.
Did you have mercury fillings?
In the past, I have. I do not now. It's been a very long time. I'm 47. Those were taken out when I was in my 20s, my mid to late 20s.
Yeah, that type of reaction can be detoxification, but it does sound pretty extreme. Yeah. And how are you with your water intake and your hydration and your sea salt?
Excellent. I do everything you say, and my diet and my lifestyle is extremely, extremely healthy. I'm doing what I can. Now, I do have a lot of issues that I deal with. But I'm seeing this direct correlation between the Remite and the dry skin. Forgot what I was going to say now.
A lot of issues. Do you mean other health issues?
I do. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. I do have a lot of health issues. I noticed the same symptom appear when a holistic doctor told me to take iodine. And I played with that for a while, and I stopped it because of dry skin, the symptom, and, you know, there's a controversy around iodine and thyroid, and I am hypothyroid. So I'm wondering if even just a little tiny bit of iodine is doing that to me. I listened to your show last week about the thyroid, and I'm familiar with pretty much everything that was talked about. But here, again, I'm just led to believe that maybe that's it.
Yeah, I mean, we have a handful of people who just don't seem to be able to take iodine in any amount, and I'm trying to figure out how, you know, what that's about and how to work around it. And I haven't come up with an answer for everybody. And basically, I just say, like you're doing, just take a drop or two of it, and to see if we can slowly get the body used to it. It might be that I look at a homeopathic iodine or something like that, but it does sound like it's an iodine issue, and you know, makes me think partly, well, should I make a remite without iodine? But iodine is so crucial to the body, to the thyroid, to the immune system. It does many things. So
I know.
It's a real, and, you know, when you Google around for this, you know, iodine allergy or iodine problems, it does happen. With the lip, I was wondering if there would be something in total biology, but all the lip is about is expressing oneself, as you can imagine. You know, you move your lips to create the words that you need to express yourself. But I think if you had the history of the iodine problem before, then it's the iodine and remite.
That was my thought.
So yeah, just do the one drop, stay there, and then keep tuned in, and, you know, I'll try to figure out a workaround for this iodine situation. Like I said, maybe it'll be a homeopathic that we have to work with. Okay?
That would be great. And by the way, I was cheering over here when that gentleman suggested about changing the labels, because I've done this same thing. I'm middle-aged. I'm not even that old. My eyes are fine, but boy, to try to see the difference between the remite and the remag, I'm like, yes, do that, please.
Well, yeah, and wait till Recalcia comes, too. Yeah, you'll have these 3 blue bottles. So, yeah, we're going to get those colors going as soon as we get our next printing.
Excellent. All right, that was pretty much my pressing question, so I'll just continue doing what I'm doing until I can find a better solution, I guess. I just want to make sure I'm not hurting myself.
Right. No, the one drop will be fine, and I'll blog it when I figure something out. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks for calling.
Great. Yes, bye-bye.
Very good. Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean. Carolyn, everybody's on the chat line screaming, seaweed, kelp. I mean, is that a viable solution for somebody who's got this kind of, you know, issue? Or
No. Yes,
right.
We should have brought that up. Seaweed and kelp have iodine, so people who have that iodine sensitivity can't take seaweed or kelp. And it's even a little more difficult because you really don't know the iodine content of seaweeds and kelps that you just buy in the store.
Excellent. Very good. Okay, let's go to in quick message, Carolyn, here, and then we've got some Facebook messages people are sending in. Goodness gracious, we're being hunted down. And then I think we've got mailbag stuff and maybe even some more phone calls. So here's our in quick message that came in actually in the first hour. This is from our good friend Gordon in Medford, Oregon. He says, I'm having difficulties with the prostate in spite of taking 2 capsules of pure encapsulation products, even double dosing at times. I heard the gentleman last week said that minerals have helped him, yet it seems to make my prostate seemingly worse. Well, not saying it's worse, it's just saying it doesn't seem to help me. Do you have any suggestions?
So is Gordon saying that the Remag and Remite have not helped his prostate?
Seems like that's the case, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And that would be like 2 teaspoons of Remag and a teaspoon and a half of Remite. Well, what you do with a prostate that still seems irritated or you're up at night, it seems enlarged, is you really have to look at possibility of some sort of infection. It can be a yeast infection, Gordon. So the treatment that, I don't know if I have it in my Future Health Now encyclopedia, but what I recommend is going on a yeast detox, and either, when you know how much a benefit you're getting from the yeast detox, then you, and you still have symptoms, then you start natural immunogenic silver. They call it colloidal silver, but the natural immunogenics people, it's like an angstrom-sized silver, and I think it's the most effective silver, or it's the one I use. So it's yeast detox and silver to get out at the possible underlying infection cause of prostatitis. So there.
Excellent. Very good. Now, Carolyn, remember we did have a run of experience, I think about a year or so ago, maybe it was a year and a half, where some guys were able to use the Renew at the base of their scrotum and got relief from the prostate that way, too. Remember?
Yes, I do now that you mention it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and that probably helped the infective part of a prostate. So, yes, if you have Renew, or even with your RNA drops, Gordon, just put a few drops on the base of the scrotum. That can be helpful.
Very good.
So
excellent.
on my Future Health Now encyclopedia, I talk about zinc, which is in the Remite. Talk about the herbal remedies. Yeah, I should up. This must be an old edition, because the silver and the yeast detox are the 2 things that Gordon needs right now. Darn, I got to update another book, Ginny. Will it ever end?
It's never ending because we're never ending. Yay, we just keep going and going. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, now let me get to this Facebook person, Carolyn, who's Chelsea emails in, track me down here on Facebook. Hi, Dr. Dean. I'm really hoping you can answer this for me. First of all, since I found your podcast, I have been addicted to listening to so many shows in your archives. They truly help me and my mind and my spirit. Like most people, I want to know your opinion because I'm getting fed up with conventional doctors. A year ago, I started to develop digestive issues, loads of burping, nausea, constipation, diarrhea. After several trips to the doctor, it turns out my gallbladder was not functioning barely at all. After doing much research, I could have had low stomach acid, and I still do. I still feel that I have that. I take digestive enzymes for this. So my gallbladder was removed in August. Very shortly after, I started to develop muscle pains and bone pains. A doctor ran many blood tests, and the only thing that came back was vitamin D level of 19. So my doctor put me on 5,000 IUs of vitamin D. In January, my levels shot up to 89. I was not feeling better. Other symptoms started to happen, like muscle twitching, burning sensations, and dizziness. What are the chances that I have been having magnesium deficiency since even before my gallbladder was removed? Could the gallbladder have aggravated my deficiency, let alone the high-dose vitamin D? My mind has not been able to relax for several months. I keep thinking of the worst. Maybe I have cancer. Maybe I have MS. I've only been able to take Remag for about a week. Some of the twitching has subsided. Since I maybe was doing more harm than good the past several months, I'm hoping that it's just going to take time. I wonder what you think.
Wow, what a great history to show the progression of magnesium deficiency and the aggravation, as Chelsea said, with the vitamin D. So yes, gallstones, there's a calcium component in gallstones where the calcium will deposit if there's not enough magnesium to dissolve the calcium. So there's a magnesium deficiency there. Stomach acid, if that's low, there's a vicious cycle with stomach acid where it'll be low if you don't have enough magnesium, and when stomach acid is low, you don't break down and transform your minerals in your food for absorption. So you get mineral and magnesium deficient. Gallbladder removed, muscle pain and bone pain. The stress of surgery will deplete your magnesium, and then you start getting real magnesium deficiency symptoms, the pain. The vitamin D, 5,000, that's a lot for the magnesium to have to metabolize. And like Chelsea said, her numbers look good, but she feels just as bad or worse. And so the vitamin D is using up whatever little magnesium you had left. And then a week on Remag, and some of the twitching has subsided, so it sounds like you're on the right track. And, try not to beat yourself up for, you not knowing what's going on, because certainly your doctors didn't. You kept doing your research. You found that it's a possible magnesium deficiency. If those symptoms were happening for me, I would definitely know I was having a magnesium deficiency. And, there'll be other things as you read. You probably have some insomnia, bit of anxiety, just tightness, and all those things that then cause more and more symptoms that then would be treated with more and more drugs. We can't say whether or not your gallbladder needed to be removed, whether it was just entirely magnesium deficiency. There's strong family histories of gallstones, gallbladder, so, try not to worry about that. But just take your Remag, get saturated. Think about taking the Remite as well, because with a low stomach acid, you've probably become deficient in the other minerals. So there you go, Chelsea.
Excellent. Yes, wonderful. Thank you, Chelsea. Okay. All right, let's see where we're at. 602-666-6027 is the phone number, and if you're on the line and want to talk to Dr. Dean, you've got to hit *5 on your keypad, as one of our most recent callers in Massachusetts has sent. We're going to take this call, Carolyn, and then how about if we do some mailbag stuff after this call?
Okie doke, yes.
Okay, very good. Going up to Massachusetts, you're on the line with Dr. Carolyn Dean. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Oh, hi. It's Catherine. I called in a couple of weeks ago.
Hi, Catherine.
And I was. Hi, how are you? I'm calling because I last time I called, I just wanted to give you an update on the magnesium. I thought I was taking a teaspoon a day, but I wasn't. I was taking a smaller amount. But now I've worked up to, more of it. But I'm experiencing different problems, and there's a lot of other things going on, and it's confusing what's what. But what are the other signs that could possibly be there's an issue with the candida? I had read something in your book that said, if you're having issues with your stomach. It could be like, candida overgrowth or something like that.
Catherine, have you seen the yeast questionnaire that we were talking about earlier? Because that's a good, it's a list of dozens of symptoms, and they're all related to yeast, and it can help define.
I don't know. I've been sick for so long, and I've looked into yeast issues before. Like, I understand what they are, but very similar to the Lyme disease. The thing that's freaking me out the most, I guess, like maybe like you might have an idea, like could give me a little bit of help, is that like I'm used to suffering a lot, so I've been having a lot of diarrhea, but it could be other problems, and I don't mind because I was constipated before. But what's really freaking me out is like the last week, and I don't know if this has anything to do with like detox or the full moon and parasites or whatever stress, but my hands have been like hurting, and I've never had this symptom before. I've had Lyme for like a long time untreated and a lot of other problems, but I've never felt like pain and arthritic pain in my hands, and it's extremely painful, and it's really scary because I'm young and I want to heal and I want to be able to do music and use my hands, but like I'm totally freaking out. Like I just want to like bawl into tears because it's like, what is going on?
Hang on. Okay. Let me get in here. So yeah, you're just in your 30s. This is new. Are you having foot pain or just hand pain?
Just hand pain. Like last year I was having foot pain, like blades in my feet, but now it's like my hands, and it's like weird. It feels like they're being like, I've just never had anything like this before.
Okay. Hang on. Let me get to you. Okay, have you been eating any deadly nightshade foods in great quantities lately, like potatoes, tomatoes, eggplant, paprika, and peppers?
No. I mean, I did have a few peppers the other day, but other than that, no.
Okay. Hard to say. I mean, when the body's detoxing or shifting, or when you are taking Remag, then the body can go through healing reactions in different areas, and you can, like you say, have the diarrhea or whatever. But if your magnesium is starting to detox you, sometimes it can start to detox yeast, and then you can get yeast toxins that can go into, any area, any joint. So have you been using your hands more lately where the toxins could accumulate because your hands are already under some stress?
Well, I mean, not more than usual, just to like try to massage my muscles, which are spasming all the time, Like I've been so much constantly trying to like help my body, but I'm sure I've been doing that all along. It's very hard to figure out,
Right. Okay, well, I don't know exactly what's going on, but, with purging and diarrhea and different things, I would just look at the Candida diet at this point and go on a yeast-free diet, make sure you're taking the probiotics, and see if that eases things up a bit.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the Candida diet already, but I mean, yeah, it's a little altered, but yeah, I mean,
right. And then in terms of, when magnesium makes me worse, that blog or, the section in the Remag book, read that again and see if there may be something that's, come up in terms of you detoxing with the Remag. But that's all I can say right now without a whole bunch more information. Is that enough to go on for now?
It doesn't make me feel any better, but, like, it's fine. I just want to know if it's going to go away or possibly go away, or I'm just going to have crippled hands for the rest of my life, Well,
think about what happened last year, and you had the foot pain, and that passed. So I know you're in the middle of the hand pain, but you...
It was, like, burning on the bottom of the feet, and, yeah, that was really freaky. I never had that before, but this sort of feels like weird, like almost like debilitating, pain in the hands, and it's weird. It's new, and it's like the one thing, that place I never had any pain before,
Right.
So.
Well, I know you're in the middle of the pain, and it's bad, but you've got to say to yourself, I've had pain before. Pain comes and goes in my life, and this pain is going to go. And
yeah.
You've got to look at it.
Have you ever had that, like, have you ever had that with your healing process, like with the Lyme, and you have so many things going on, you don't know what's what and what's doing what? And
yeah, a lot of people have that. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I'm sorry, but it's, I just know that the magnesium will help and will help shift things around. And in the shifting, you're going to feel it. I know I went through 2 months of foot pain as I was going through my alignment exercises. When you do something, positive to heal yourself, if you've got a lot of issues, then the shift you're going to feel the shift.
Well, what about the magnesium, right, feeding parasites? That's the other question that I'm interested in. Does this magnesium not that it matters because we still need it, but if we have a lot of parasites in us and they're releasing toxins into the bloodstream, right?
Yeah.
Does the product that you are talking about, the Remag and the whatever, like how much is that, like, does it absorb into your body before it goes into a place where maybe just the parasites are feeding on it? Like, I'm just curious.
Well, the I don't know exactly what you're saying, but yeah, parasites, everything uses minerals, but these, you can't not take your minerals to starve your parasites. What I'm doing with the yeast detox is I'm going to be working with a silica diatomaceous earth, and that will work on parasites and worms as well as candida, because a lot of people, they'll have issues with many things. So that's one of the things that I recommend to people for parasites and worms is silica diatomaceous earth.
Yeah, I have that. I stopped. I couldn't continue to take it because I was afraid of it was back. I was so constipated. But now that I'm going with the Remag, maybe I can afford to take it. But before, it's something that, like, if you're constipated, like, you're almost afraid to take anything like that, anything bulking.
Right.
So maybe it's worth thought again. But do you have this plan somewhere written down on the internet we can look at? I'm just trying to figure out what you're talking about. You said a yeast detox. Like, is that on the internet or?
Yeah, Ginny can send that to you. Just ask her for the information and the yeast questionnaire at support@rnareset.com, and she'll send it to you. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much. Sorry to overwhelm you.
Oh, well, gosh, just overwhelming me for a few minutes, and you're living a life of overwhelmed. Don't apologize. We really feel for you.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Catherine. Okay, Catherine.
All right.
We'll hear from you. Call back. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Hey, Carolyn, did someone mention, you mentioned Epsom salt bath?
Not today.
Yeah, Gene recommended Epsom salt bath for this person you were just talking to.
Yes, that's right, Catherine. Epsom salt bath, or put your hands in a bowl of Epsom salts to relieve either the toxins or the magnesium deficiency or the pain in your hands. But, yeah, Catherine's in the beginning of building up her magnesium, so she's not saturated enough yet to deal with all the magnesium deficiency symptoms. Okay, Ginny, back to you.
Excellent. All right, we're live with Dr. Carolyn Dean. We've got about 20 minutes to the top of the hour. Carolyn, let's attack that mailbag or get it done so we can give some answers to some folks who've been waiting.
Oh, okay. Yes, woman emailed that she's been off the evil Ativan since January 23rd, 2016. She said she went through a detox program where they put her on Neurontin, 300 milligrams 3 times a day for withdrawal pains and seizures. But Neurontin itself, she said, made her tired and like a zombie. And I emailed back, said, wow, I didn't realize they're using Neurontin for Ativan withdrawal, replacing one evil drug with another. So she's trying to get off it, and she says, I feel like the Remag has stopped making her feel zombied out, even while on the Neurontin. She's able to sleep 2 or 3 hours, starting at 3 a.m., so she has sleep issues. She's been taking a half a teaspoon of Remag and a pint of water twice a day, so she's only on a teaspoon of Remag. So I told her to sip it through the day, and she says she's having shakes and dissociative feelings. So I just kept telling her to sip it through the day, make sure she's following the water guidelines and Himalayan salt. So, yeah, when people are going detoxing drugs, or, you know, like Catherine's going through her Lyme disease and all the medications she's been on, with that through the decades she's had the infection. I mean, it's like get on the protocol, do it consistently, and let your body build up the minerals. So she said she's afraid to stop the Remag because it is helping. So it's mainly me telling her to just sip it through the day and build up, so she's taking more. And then she asked about if she'd ever heard of anyone having tingling in their head. And I told her, you know, tingling in any part of the body, it can be common. There's a lot of muscles in the scalp of the head people don't realize, and when those scalp muscles tighten up, then they can create this kind of nerve tingling in the head. So I just tried to reassure her about taking the Remag, but it's hard for me, you know, by email and even over the phone to help people with that sort of extreme detoxification, especially when they put you on other drugs to detox. But still, people do get through it if they can just, I don't know, patience is not even the word, but if they can really just understand that they've got to go slowly and look at their shifting in a more positive way. Next one here at 3:44 Hawaii time. Question, can you tell me if it's mandatory to stop taking birth control pills to successfully control candidiasis? My doctor put me on them through perimenopause and menopause. Don't like taking them, but the alternative is not good. I was having abnormal uterine bleeding, so I told her about going on the complement formulas to balance her body rather than suppressing her hormones. So we'll see how that turns out for her. Then there's a question about children, wondering if the RNA drops are appropriate for children. And the child has asthma, asthmatic reactions when he has a simple cold. The doctors now have him on an oral steroid along with inhaled breathing treatments, and we've still been to the ER twice this year. So I said, we don't market the RNA drops for children. They shouldn't need them unless they are ill. In your son's case, they can be helpful. And then I told her about Remag being very important in asthma, and for her child's 50 pounds, it's like half the adult dosage. And with the RNA drops, it's just 1 drop twice a day. I told her a yeast-free diet would be important for him as well, and probably the Prescript Assist probiotics to get his good bacteria back. So, you know, these children put on medications that cause more yeast, that cause more symptoms. It can be a vicious cycle. Next one, somebody said she had her magnesium RBC checked. It was 6. Doesn't know how much magnesium to take now. She says she's afraid of building up too much. You don't have to be afraid of building up too much magnesium because at that point, even with the Remag, if you're saturated and taking more than your cells can handle, you will get the laxative effect. She was taking 2 teaspoons a day, and she said her heart palpitations were better, but now they're not so good because she cut back on her magnesium. She said also, especially if I have a glass of wine, and she says, I don't understand why if the level is optimum now. So you cannot rely on a one shot in the middle of so many other possibilities with your health, one shot blood test to base all your choices on, all your decisions, because yes, actually, let me describe what's going on with this magnesium RBC test, and I'll put it in the next magnesium update. The magnesium RBC is a test of the red blood cells and how much magnesium is in there. Now, what's interesting about the red blood cells is they do not have mitochondria, and it's the millions of mitochondria in our cells that make the ATP in the Krebs cycle, where 6 of the 8 steps are require magnesium in order to in red blood cells. It's just they're easier to test rather than doing a tissue biopsy. So, I really have to caution people not to think that the red blood cells are the be-all and end-all of your testing, because when you get a 6, which is, in the optimum range of a red blood cell test, what it's doing is picking up the magnesium in your serum, the magnesium you've been taking every day. We do tell people to stop the magnesium 12 hours before. Some labs want you to stop it days before, but I just can't do that to people because so many people are on the edge of their magnesium deficiency. So you can't look at your magnesium RBC test as being the only thing you look at. So this person still having heart palpitations, or she says they're better, so it means they're not gone. They get worse if she drinks some wine. And then she mentions that her father just passed away, so she's had stress there. And she says, yeah, the palpitations were better for a while. Now it's not so great. Yes, you're taking less Remag. Your father passed away. You're testing your body with the wine, and you're still deficient. Although, you were made to think you were all A-okay because of the blood test level. So it's something that I harp on a lot, and I say, look, there's a blood test and there's how you feel. If you don't feel well and not feeling well with magnesium deficiency type symptoms, then keep taking your magnesium or take more magnesium. I told her go back to her 2 teaspoons. It's a safe amount, and she could continue to take that. Shall I continue on, Ginny? I'm on number 10 mailbag right now.
Yes, please continue.
Okay. Person who was interested in one of the summits, she had renal insufficiency, stage 3 kidney disease, started experiencing a lot of pain in her ankles. She was doing some new sport, and she wondered if that was it. Pain moved up into her knees and wrists, and then muscle cramps in her legs and arms. She ruled out Lyme disease, West Nile virus, all negative. And then she came across my article in Dr. Mercola's site about magnesium. She'd had blood tests for minerals. She thought she had no deficiencies, but we know they use the wrong gauge for your values. So she wondered if the joint pains and muscle cramps can have anything to do with the fact that I take vitamin D3 supplements but do not take any magnesium. She's taking 6,000 units a day. So, yes, I was, I got right back to her and I said, yes, that's a lot of vitamin D for your body to handle without magnesium supplements. So, again, a situation of someone who's building up a magnesium deficiency. It started in her feet and worked up to the rest of her body. Incredible. And people have to find this out on their own, and thank goodness they can with all the health websites out there. Someone is asking, if you've been told by an endocrinologist that your thyroid is not producing anything and that you will always be dependent upon medication, can this be reversed by what you have to say and do for it? I don't know. I don't know exactly what this person's thyroid looks like, but we do know that the minerals do help, and we've gotten a lot of testimonials, people getting off thyroid medication using the Remag and Remite. So I just tell people who ask a point-blank question like that, is it has helped other people, and you can try it and see if it'll help you. Another person, thank you for the completement formulas. My mother's been taking them for 5 weeks. The whole family's taking them. So then her sister taking them, she's in another country, taking the Remag, I think it is, had a tremendous amount of pain in the middle of her stomach on the left-hand side of her intestines. She has had such issues before. So they were wondering what it could be. Did visit a naturopath. Doctor said could be gallbladder or pancreas, but the gallbladder's on the right side. She'll have an ultrasound. Wondered if she was doing it the Remag too fast. So basically I said, you're probably right. Things can get worse before they get better. The priorities in the body can come to the surface. Things can get stirred up. And the best advice that we always offer is to cut back a bit if pains begin and go more slowly. So I haven't heard back. I said to directly email me if she had any reports, but the spasming in the intestines of a young person taking Remag I've never heard of before, so that's why I encourage them to go and see a doctor. Someone else said they developed canker sores on the products. Didn't know if they were related. I said we've never heard of canker sores on the products, but if a person is toxic and has a history of canker sores, then a canker sore can be a way for the body to try to eliminate toxins. And I recommended the Realign to help with more of the detoxification, so the body wouldn't have to break open the skin in order to get rid of toxins. Someone who said they just figured out that magnesium deficiency was the root of her problems. She says, I have low stomach acid, and when I eat high alkaline foods, especially beta-carotene foods, my muscles spasm, and I get severe eye twitches. I read on another site that eating high alkaline foods when stomach acid is low drops magnesium levels. I was told to take hydrochloric acid. So I said it's an interesting question. Plant foods are alkaline, but it's mostly the minerals that the plants provide that give us our nutrition and balance our pH, if the plants have minerals. And since they're so deficient in minerals, I think what the body's craving when it tries to digest these deficient plants is magnesium and the other trace minerals. And I just said the best thing to do is take the Remag and Remite to give you perfect building blocks for your cells and let the body sort out the imbalances and use Realign to help with gently detoxing, RNA drops to help make perfect cells. So, yeah, you can see from some of these emails, people do a lot of Googling and trying to get Dr. Google to give them an answer, but it's a stretch. Look, here's my last mailbag. Someone said she was taking the whole Complement formulas for 3 weeks, but a week ago found out she was pregnant. Should she stop the RNA drops? And I said, as Ian says, if you've begun your RNA drops before conceiving, then continue. But you would have gotten pregnant before starting the drops. So I would stop the drops, but continue the Realign and the Remag and the Remite. RNA drops are not harmful in any way, but just not necessary. So,
excellent.
There you go.
Very good.
Mailbag for once.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, so
see if you can answer Gloria's question. See if you can do Gloria.
Bob,
yeah.
Let me just, okay, go ahead. You read it. You're right there. Go ahead.
You do it.
Okay, we just have a few minutes. Carolyn, hi, Dr. Dean. My daughter's been told her nerves are misfiring, causing extreme headaches. She has had migraine headaches, but she claims these feel different. The doctor thought it was her eyes causing the headaches, sent her to an optometrist who, upon examining her, told her her eyes were fine, but gave her on two different prescriptions for prims in her glasses to help strengthen the eye muscles. The prims don't seem to help. The headaches continue. She has stabbing pain in her ears that the medical profession can't figure out what's causing. Other symptoms, dizziness, balance, so on and so forth. Cortisone shots. So is the answer, go ahead.
Take Remag and Realign in the Complement formulas. It's all magnesium deficiency unless otherwise diagnosed.
Very good. Bye, everybody.
AchieveRadio.com.
I'm too tired to even say goodbye.